Hey tubers, welcome to the channel and time for another adventure. So if you're watching this one and you watch the previous ones, you're probably saying, what's going on and why are you doing another turbo inlet pipe? Well, let's put it like this. This is the 5th time I think I've had a go at this. The first time the pipe split, and that was the genuine pipe, probably done about 70,000 kilometers. And that was a bit unfortunate. You might have seen I had a bit of trouble finding where the oil was leaking, and once I got that sorted I sealed it up. It worked really well sealed. I bought an aftermarket one, put it on the car, and all was good. Now the first one I actually threw away, which was a mistake in hindsight, because the second one I put on was this one, and after a little while, probably about 10,000 kilometers, it started leaking here where it goes into the engine, into the intake plenum. So I thought, I'll buy another one. They're very cheap. This was 40 Australian, maybe 45. So I bought this one. This one's currently on the car, and lo and behold, it's leaking. And I now have the pleasure of oil all under the car and on my nice floor, and I've got to clean that up because it's not good. So I thought, I'll buy another one. I'll get another $40 one. But then I thought, surely if I buy another $40 one, it'll be the same as the third pipe that's on the car. So I bought this, which is the 4th pipe. Now, the difference here is 5 times more expensive. And who knows where it's made, it doesn't even say. But what I'm really hoping is that this flange is made a little bit better, and it does look a little bit better than this one. This one seems to be maybe aluminium. This one seems to be stainless steel. These are both stainless steel. This one was actually bent, or one of them on the car was bent when I got the car. Got the pipe delivered. So maybe that didn't really help. But what really is the trick is how this seal fits down to the hose there. And it really doesn't look much different. So nevertheless, maybe I should have asked the garage just for the seal. Maybe I should still ask the garage for the seal. We'll see. But otherwise, let's get this on and see if we can stop this oil leak. And while we're doing it, we're also going to be having a bit of fun. It looks really short. We're also going to be having a little bit of fun. It's never going to fit. We're going to have a little bit of fun just opening this up here on the car, so that we can get the pipe in a little bit better. I think the first thing we'll do is get this pipe off and compare it, because there's no point putting this pipe on if it's not the right size. But anyway, let's get to it, see what happens. So I made a little bit of progress, just looking at what's going on. So one thing that does help is pull these cables out of the way. I've just got a couple of little bungees on there just to get those out of the way of this fitting. Another thing to note is this fitting, this clip here, when it comes up, it only comes up on the top side, so there is no corresponding clip on the bottom side. So you just clip that from here to here, and that's in its release position. You can take that clip off as well, which I just did by throwing it under the car. And luckily I found it, put it back on, ready for the new hose to go back on. And then on this side, and this is where we're going to do a little bit of work, you'll see that my intercooler is sagged. And that's because it's just rattled around in the car, and you can see this fitting here is just worn over time. So we're just going to try and make a bit of room there, because when you have the clip on the tube in its open position to try and get the tube off, then you have this real problem that this hoop and this fitting get clashing down there. So you need a good bit of clearance around that pipe. So I'll show you what we're going to do on that in a moment. And then finally, regardless of the shape of the tube, and I'll just hold the Mercedes dealer to account if it turns out it's too short. If we look at the diameter of this new tube, we've got 69.6 millimeters, and that's just touching on the green seal. Same on this one, 69.7. But we look at the old tubes, and even though that seal's a bit sort of been in the car a little while, and a bit worn, you can see it's more like 67.8. Oh, sorry. Looking for 68.8, 68.6 there. Looking at this one, measuring across that seal carefully. See there, 68.6. So it's a whole millimetre smaller than this new one, which is not 68.6, it's 69.6. So that's given me a little bit of hope that the factory one, a little bit larger, and even if I lube it up a little bit, it shouldn't be leaking down. So the whole point of this is just try and get this a little bit airtight and oil tight and stop having a mess under the car, and also not have to do it again would be a good plan. So I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to see if we can make some room for that hose. So let's see how we go. Okay, so we've never done that before. I did remove, I thought it was going to be plastic. I thought all of this was like a moulding at the front. It turns out this is a piece of tin sheet, and what they've done, which is a bit weird, is they've sandwiched that tin sheet inside the plastic. So this is plastic and this is steel. I'm not sure if you can see, get the angle right. So this is the steel and this is the plastic, and that's what they've done at the front here. But what we've done is just taken that off. Just down there's 3 little holes, probably you can see that a bit better than me, and just made a heap of room underneath now for that coupling to go under. So now when this goes down and in, there's now plenty of room for those clips to come out and in as that clips on. So even with that widened out, when these clips are up and in that out position, which is like this, I don't know what's going to happen, this one's going to flip in when I lift on it. When you put your screwdriver in the top there and you try and lift those up, they get so wide that they actually hit on the sides as you're pulling it out. It's just crazy. There should have been heaps more room here for service on the side of those clips. Anyway, I think you get the point. And it's the same when you put it back together. When you push this in, if you have these clips out, it's easy to push on and you can push them down after. If you have them in, it's just a bit trickier to make sure that you've got that clipped on and that that's gone down home correctly. If anybody wants to tell me in the comments that I'm doing it wrong, I'd be happy to know how to do it better. Okay, so let's try getting this new pipe on and see how we go. Okay, so a little bit of silicone spray and a lot of effort, we got the 2 ends on. I must say this pipe seems awfully short, but we'll see how we go. So you can see on this end, maybe you can see better than me, that at the top here we've got just about enough clearance on the inboard and not enough on the outboard to get that clip off if we wanted to. And down underneath, I don't know if you can see, you might be able to see there's now heaps of room for the black part of that clip to come in and out. So next time I need it out, I should be able to wiggle it out. It's a shame really I couldn't get this wider on the side here. I did take that sensor off, not sure I mentioned that. I took that sensor off before I got in there with the saw, and that was just a safety thing because that's a crash sensor. And then on this side, sorry for all manoeuvring, on this side we're quite happy. I'll just drop you down there and have a look down underneath. Not sure if you can see underneath there. So that's gone in nicely. It went home really sweetly, and this clip went on perfectly okay. Very confident that's on, and just give that a good tug. I did with the other pipes when I started the car and drove it. I actually had one of the pipes pop out 2 times when I drove away from home, which is always a bit tricky. It runs like a dog when there's no turbo pressure. The ECU gets really upset and you're going nowhere in a hurry. Okay, so we'll get this sprayed down. I don't know if I'm going to drop the drop tray off just now and give that a wash. I think I'll just spray this with some degreaser and get in there with the pressure washer, give it a bit of cleanup, and then I'll get this inlet hose back on and we'll be good to go. Alright, so let's get that all back together and see what it looks like. Alright, there we go. Beautifully. Give everything a bit of a rinse, get some of the oil off, that degreaser, and get us rolled. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll give you, maybe in the comments, I'll say whether this one worked out successfully. Okay, thanks for watching. So just a little wrap on this video and a follow up. So the pipe's been on a couple of weeks now, so all looking hunky-dory as far as physically, nice and tight. And then just oil wise, I'm going to say that's just the oil that was left over from before. So certainly nothing wet there. So it seems sometimes eBay is not the way, and you've got to fork out and do it properly. Okay, thanks for that, and thanks for watching.